on, y'all. Y'all think it's me. I'm telling you, it's her.
Start your day with that. That is my message to the world. I don't deserve this. The millions of dollars that the military is spending on me to fix me up, I don't deserve it. I didn't have my purpose. I don't deserve it. And she goes, don't you say that again. That's the last time you're going to say that, and you do deserve it. And she spoke identity into me.
Wow.
And from that day on, she adjusted me, and I had never said that ever again.
Mm.
So I lost 40 pounds and all my muscle, and I had to rehab. I was laying down for 2.5 months straight without moving, and I had sores on my backside that, bed sores.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first time my first workout in rehab was standing up out of the wheelchair, and it was the hardest thing I ever done, and I threw up from standing up, from laying down for that long to standing up. The next day I did it 10 times and didn't throw up. And the next day I did a little bit more. And I rehabbed all the way to the SEAL teams, which also takes another mentality. Because my commanding officer had come into the hospital room and said, I'll give you papers to discharge you right now. You just say the words. Do you want to come back or do you want out? And I said, I want to come back and I want to rehab and I want to deploy. So he goes, all right, that's all I need to know.
Wow.
Put me right back into the SEAL rehab facility, which is probably close to any professional team rehab facility.
Sure.
It's state of the art.
So how long was that process from you're in the bed for months, you can't walk, you literally stand up and throw up because it was so hard to do it, and then the next day you do it 10 times, and that mentality, there's something there that we can learn from. But what was that time frame from standing up for the first time again to being deployed now and you're fully active?
7.5 months of rehab.
Wow.
8 hours a day.
8 hours
of just day. I got paid to rehab, and a part of that is like nutrition. So I would bring my food and cook my food, and then stretch, and then do some weightlifting and do some cardio.
Wow.
And when they put you on the cardio machines in SEAL rehab, you are a rat on the wheel. They turn it up and walk out the door, and you're like hooked up. So, and then had the stair climb.
So they had their own rehab for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was tough. It's probably tougher than SEAL training because I did it all by myself. But you want to know who makes it through SEAL training? Two people.
Who?
The first kind of person you got to be to mentally endure SEAL training are people who have gone through something arduous already before. So going through some tough stuff, pain in your life. I would attribute that to my mom. She ran me around the house, and that was hard for me to deal with as a kid. The other thing someone needs to make it through training is someone who has fun doing it. I was at the beach, the water, the sand. It was great. This is like where people vacation. And I just enjoyed every second of SEAL training.
Cool.
The physical, I think you would have too, Mondo. Just like, let's go do it.
Come on.
Let's go do it. And then you're not thinking about the downward death spiral of like, oh, this is hard. I don't like this. This hurts.
Wow.
You're done. Wow. You start thinking like that.
Your mentality was already on a different level.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 2 people that make it through SEAL training are those who have already gone through something before.
Yeah.
And those who have fun doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Are those 2 principles that you think we can apply in our lives to overcome hardship and really step into our purpose?
A lot of people have had a rough 3 years or have gone through pain in their past, right?
Yeah.
You have an advantage on society.
Wow.
Your pain gives you an advantage.
Good for you.
So your pain can become your platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Like this morning, I had an alarm clock that spoke like soft nothings to me, and I got up and I turned the heater up because I was a little chilly.
Yeah.
And too much of this softness doesn't do well for you, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think going through rough stuff, whatever it is great. I mean, even though at the time it's not, it's good for us, right?
Yeah,
that's
so good.
A whole different
it shapes your
mindset.
character, and that's when your character comes out.
You just said right. I don't know. We got a room full of people, and people be like, "Yeah, preach that. Yep. Going through hard stuff is where it's at." Because most people don't want that part. They don't want that part. We want the progress, we want the platform too, but we don't want the hard.
And we don't want the process.
Yeah, because you kind of feel like if it's hard, then maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But your mindset, that's what I'm trying to understand your mindset, because whatever that was, or even now, to have you thinking so clearly on that wavelength, it's like we need more of that. Like I want some of that,
So I want to go back to something. Did you have something?
No.
Okay. So I had a question that I think most people would ask, and that is, when do you come to a point where you look and say, you're like, hey, when we're kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you decide, I want to be a Navy SEAL. Like, how did you come to that place to make that decision, and then not only make the decision, but follow through and make it through the hardship to be deemed, this is a U.S. Navy SEAL, and you have passed the test. Like, as a little kid, I've never met a kid before or another person that's a SEAL,
right?
Or someone that wants to be one.
Yeah.
So how did you come to that place, and then what gave you that confidence to go after it?
I was a junior in high school, and I decided I need to know who I am, and I would need to find the biggest challenge for me to do that. I didn't think it was the Army Rangers. I didn't think it was Special Forces. I didn't think it was the Marine Recon, and I didn't think it was the Air Force PJs. For me, I felt like the SEALs was the toughest thing. They had Hell Week. And I was like, oh man, if I don't do that, I'll never know. And it was like hook, line, and sinker, man. I signed myself up because I was 18.
Wow.
And I went home and I told my mom I'm going to be a SEAL. And she goes, oh, really, son? That's too bad. You're going to have to face failure really early in life. And I'm like, oh. And then I go to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I'm going to be a SEAL. And he's like, no, boy, mine's going to the military. My kids go to college. He goes, I'll pay for any college you want to go to. And I was like, nope, going to SEAL. I went and told my friends, I'm going to be a SEAL. And all my friends say, no, you don't have the mindset for that, Charles. You can't be a SEAL.
Wow.
But all of that, I felt like, made me drive harder, made me want it more, made me like prove it. But I was seeking to become my own God. It was out of pride.
Yeah.
But I used their words to strengthen me. The only person that said, go and do it, was my brother. He's like, yeah, man, you can do it. So I went off and, I had a hard heart. I was stubborn. The Lord's been whittling me down ever since the SEALs, because he's had to. But I just felt like I can do anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that mindset is healthy, but it's also caustic, because I've always felt like I can do things in my own strength. That's relying on yourself, when all through the scriptures it says to rely on God. And he's the one that opens doors.
Yeah.
So good.
He wants to walk with you through all this. So, and God's a God of seasons too.
Yeah.
That's right.
He knows what you need. And Pastor Morris always says, like, you're going to keep taking the test until you pass the test. And it's not a time lapse test. It's a maturity event pass test.
Ooh, that's good right there.
Until yes. And so I feel like that's what God does. And we have to yield to that, because if we don't, we're just keep retaking the test. And so I think being men of strength isn't always an advantage when it comes to honoring God, because we have this self-will.
Yeah.
And God wants the glory.
Yes.
So, quick story, I was in downtown Dallas at a fundraiser with Marcy Gracie, the UFC guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to have dinner next to him. It was awesome. But there was 250 ex-Special Forces, Army Rangers, combat pilots, and Navy SEALs there. 250. It was a fundraiser for Gold Star families. Great event. Gracie spoke. I actually got to sit next to him for 2 hours, and I got to pick his mind about fighting in the mid. It was just a cool conversation, just me and him, because he has his perspective, and I actually have a little bit different. And so there's after the thing, there's a lot of money spent, the fundraiser auction. And we go out on the patio and we get to share stories with each other. And it's a room full of guys way more decorated than me. But they gave us a cigar and a scotch. And we're out there in groups of 5 or circles, and we're all talking about our stories and where we've been. And man, when you're a spirit-filled light bearer, that flesh just doesn't get along. And my heart was heavy. So we're telling stories. I've been here. This is how many people I killed. I've done this. And amongst the people that have done it before, you can speak a little bit more easily with each other. Cigar, scotch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one guy says, and wouldn't you guess it, this guy I knew committed suicide 2 months ago. No one saw it coming. Killed himself. And everyone was a little quiet. Cigar, scotch. Huh. And then I had a little tap on my shoulder by the Holy Spirit. And I said, I know why he killed himself. He killed himself because he didn't talk about what he was really doing and feeling to other people.
Mm.
That's why he killed himself.
That's good, Charles.
Cigar, scotch, and everyone's quiet. And I say it, and then the Holy Spirit nudges me again. And I say, is anybody else here dealing with something they're not talking about?
Ooh.
It's on their chest.
Small group moment.
Come on
Cigar,
now.
scotch.
Hey.
The toughest men that we attribute strength to in our society could not say what they were dealing with.
Mm.
Lisa, tell me who's strong. Tell me, what is strength? It's not the SEAL thing. That don't make you strong.
No.
Because these men were locked up and couldn't talk.
Woo.
Hurt marriages,
Come on.
deranged children, unable to sleep at night, addicted to the bottle. Couldn't talk about it.
Wow.
Because the thing that you're trained to do, to be tough in battle and pull the trigger and get up and carry on, works directly against the ability to talk about what you're dealing with.
Wow.
And that's what we need to do. The Lord calls us to rip open our hearts and live for Him. So the SEAL teams a lot of time is great. It helps you with things like the past 3 years in life of dealing with mentally. But in other ways, it's a snare that holds you back in a lot of ways. So
Wow.
I would think a lot of the same things for football players.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody glorified,
Mm-hmm.
it struggles.
Yeah.
So good. Wow, you said a lot. You really unpacked a lot of powerful stuff right there, Charles. That was so good. Do you have anything you wanted to say on that?
I'm still thinking about that.
Whew. So let me ask
I'm
you
still
this.
dealing with it too.
Yeah, for the sake of time, any final thoughts that you want to leave to those who are tuning in right now, listening to this
It may be somebody listening that has, that hardened heart that you talked about.
Yeah, and I love how you said, where's true strength come from, right? So if you could leave a final thought with our listeners as we close, Charles, what would you like to say?
I don't even know if we would know. We try to diagnose. In the 60s, they say when you have a baby, don't lay them on their back, because on their back of their head's going to get flat. Lay them on their stomach. And then a bunch of babies started suffocating. So they said, well, don't lay the baby on their stomach anymore, even though the scientists said to. Now lay them on their side. And a lot of them were rolling back on their belly and suffocating. And then 10 years later, they said, oh, take the baby and lay him on his back. We don't even know. We don't even know. You have to have a diligent, daily picking up your cross devotion time with your Father in heaven.
Come on.
Because He knows the season you're in. He knows what you need. And there's no way out. And there's no way of lifting yourself up by the boots. All the self-help that the internet tells you is motivation and get out there and work hard kind of works against you in a lot of ways. My message is simply first fruits. Start your day with God. That is my message to the world. Take time and get FaceTime with Him. Know your Father in heaven. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart.
It's beautiful.
The world will tell you, go after it and motivation and work hard and get up early. I think that ends
grind.
Yeah.
There's nothing at the end of that road for you. There really isn't.
Sleepiness.
Yeah. And exhaustion.
But I want to plug what you're doing, Mondo. Because what this man is doing is amazing, because this can even help a lot of people who get out of the military, veterans. I had an amazing set of skills that was unapplicable to the marketplace. Guns and bombs and underwater demolition. What are you going to do with that in the marketplace? So Barna did a study on millennials in America, and they found that 71% of men and 79% of females don't have purpose in their life. Purpose. The word is purpose.
Wow.
And that's a catastrophic number. It's unsustainable to society. People who don't have a purpose in life are, in other words, I would say suicidal.
Yeah.
Who don't know how to get up. So you've heard it said, know your why, know your what, but your why is what drives you. Purpose is in line with that, and those should both flow out of your purpose. And I think it's a very unused word in our society. That's the answer to this word purpose. Knowing your purpose is the direct answer to the society, the problems in our society. Did you know that when you wrote this book?
I did not know this statistic. No, I did not.
You're a man of prayer. See, God told you before you knew. God has the answer to the problem.
It's amazing.
But we are God's hands and feet. He doesn't do something on earth without us. He uses us to do it.
Come on.
He used Esther. He used Moses.
Yeah.
He used David.
That's right.
I think if you pray and don't hear anything, God's going to give it to somebody else.
Wow.
And I thank God for what you're doing, because the world doesn't know it yet, but this is what they're missing.
Come on.
75% of people, they say that's an unsustainable number, because the generation before it was like 40% higher.
Wow.
And they've never seen such a drastic drop. What is Gen X? What is Gen Z? Nobody knows yet.
Wow.
So
good.
I guarantee, like you said, that it just gets, higher and higher in terms of the people.
More and more people not
They
knowing.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Kids need this.
Come on.
Veterans who get out of the military, they have all these skills, but don't know their purpose. Ex-athletes,
Yes.
they have all these skills, but what is your purpose?
Yes.
Man, there's such fulfillment. So I want to plug this because I love this. I think it's the answer to a lot of problems, and this should be common curriculum in any high school for kids to at least have a grasp of what God put in them to export to the world.
Come on. Ooh, that's so good.
I'm excited.
We can close right there.
But before we do,
yes.
you're selling purpose. I'm selling character. Both are tough sells. The culture, company culture, it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Because it's like eating your broccoli. You don't want to do it, but it's good for you. It's like stretching.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it,
right?
Yeah.
Nobody
but you
wants
have
to do that,
to.
right? Or
Right.
warm up, right?
Definitely warm up.
But what
You're gonna
happens?
get a cramp.
What happens when you don't have purpose? What happens when you don't have character? The foundation of the house is missing,
Yep.
and it's a collapse of any organization, your family,
No
your
matter
business, your group.
how high you build it, when that foundation is not there, it's only a matter of time before it collapses.
That's right.
I think God has called you for such a time as this, Mondo.
Yeah.
Amen.
So
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was so amazing. And where can people find your book?
that's on
A
Amazon.
Leader After God's Own Heart, to learn about the leadership lessons you learned from your time with the Lord, your walk with the Lord, from your time in the Navy SEALs, and also in the marketplace.
Yeah, you can do that. I got other stuff at charlescrouch.com. Camps, Christian marriage camps, and father-son retreats.
Okay. Beautiful.
So
We'll put that in the description below.
And you can click on that
know how to
link.
Contact Charles and
That's right.
maybe attend some of the events that will bless your life, bless your family's life. And this right here is definitely just a game changer in regards to just wanting to lead with purpose and really change the dynamic of your future. You know, the way that you view your family, the way that you view your own life, and who God says you are. Let's start with you first so that you can love others as you love yourself.
Yeah. And just remember this, your gift will take you there, but it's your character that will keep you there. So with that being said, we want to close out our time today. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here on the Inspiring Purpose podcast. We're so excited. We hope that you found incredible value in this time. We're so grateful for you, Charles. That was incredible. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Charles.
That was amazing. We'll have to have you back and you'll have to share some more lessons. Maybe we can talk about your book. But we just want to say thank you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. I'm Mondo Davis.
I'm Lisa Davis.
We are your co-hosts. And remember that each of us were born with a solution to someone else's problem. When we step into that purpose individually, collectively, we can change the world. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. God bless. There have been some inquiries regarding our shirts, our outfits here. So we just wanted to give you guys some information on what we're wearing, because there's been some questions and people have been asking about that. So we wanted to go ahead and share with you. So we have really good friends that we're so excited about who have launched out into creating an apparel company. And really, I'm really excited about what they're doing, because in essence, the name of the company is Now Found Apparel. And it's all about the fact that we're lost, but now we're found when we come into contact with Jesus Christ and develop a relationship with Him. And the name of the company, again, is really pointing us to Christ. And I love the mission of Now Found Apparel.
And this is what? This is an A for abide?
Yes. So abiding in Him. And my favorite scripture, one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, John 15:5, and it says, "He that abides in me, I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abides in me and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit, for without me you can do nothing." And in essence, God is telling us that if we don't abide in Him, we're like that branch that gets cut off and it no longer produces fruit. It dies. So when we stay connected to God, all things are possible. And that's what we really find the sustenance of life.
It's a great reminder. I mean, you think about some of the things people wear, whether it's Polo, Hilfiger, all these different things, but their brands are not speaking life to you and to others. And that's exactly what Newfound Apparel does. You know, when you're wearing this Abide shirt, it's just a constant reminder of, you know what, like, I'm not alone. Like, God abides in me. And through Him, with Him, all things are possible.
Yeah, so, hey, if you guys are interested, you want to learn more about it.
Great. What is this, like a bamboo?
It's a bamboo type of material. It's like, this right here, it keeps you...
We're not getting paid for this. This is not an advertisement.
This is not a paid ad.
These are information. People are asking, so we're just going to put it on the video so we don't have to keep typing on what it is.
So
stretchy. Did you see the bottom part of it? It kind of has like that circle part. I like the way that it kind of like falls on you.
It feels
it doesn't
good.
Like stick to
it's actually like one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn.
It really is.
Seriously.
It's like
the material
it's light.
It's a bamboo type of material that allows you to perforate.
Yes, it's breathable.
Absolutely, and it feels really good.
Did you say it allows you to perspirate?
Yeah, in a way that's comfortable.
You to sweat?
Yes, in a very comfortable way.
Oh, in a comfortable way.
Some shirts,
I was like,
you a nasty mess when you start sweating.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But this right here, you perspirate, and it's just like it just flows through.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get all sticky and nasty.
You cool.
Yeah. So I love the material. It's something that's great for working out. You can wear it out on a date. You can hang out and wear it. It's comfortable. It feels great.
It really is.
Yeah. So I really just wanted to let you guys know that if you're interested, you can go to nowfoundapparel.com. You can learn more about it. You can find them on Instagram. We'll put all those links in the description, and you can click on those if you want to learn more about the clothing line and the CEO and co-founder, Steve and Courtney Cohen. So they're incredible people with an incredible vision, and we're just excited that we got a chance to participate and get in some of the products and being able to wear it and represent. So,
yay.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully they answered your questions. God bless you guys.
See you next week.
Look forward to talking to you soon. Wow. That was amazing. I've never had an opportunity to sit down with a Navy SEAL.
Neither have I. I didn't really know much about Navy SEALs.
I mean, that's just fascinating to me. I don't know about you guys, but I hear stories all the time about Navy SEALs, and I got a friend that's a Navy SEAL, but I've never actually had the opportunity to sit down with one and have a deep conversation, and one that actually loves the Lord. I think to me that's even more impressive. Yeah. And we know his family. He and his wife are amazing. Mm-hmm. He is an amazing husband. Yeah. And he has some incredible children. Mm-hmm. So what are
they homeschool, don't they?
Yes, I believe so.
That is so awesome.
So that whole thought about, leaving this to really pursue your family with a 98% divorce rate, I'm like,
98%.
wow, 98%.
Woo. I don't even know of another career that's comparable to that.
So it's really admirable that he would really take the time to realize that there was a fork in the road and choose his family. But what are your key takeaways from this? Because I thought it was incredible.
I definitely related to his story in so many parts, but mainly in the part where he said he felt like he was invincible, like he created his own success, he could do anything, but it was all about him.
Right.
Because I found myself when I was in my career with nursing and, management and that kind of stuff, I found myself in that same kind of mindset before I found Christ.
Wow.
That whole independence that I talked about before.
Yes.
And it was definitely a fork in the road. That was when we had Shiloh. She was maybe 5.
That's right. I remember. Yeah.
When I was kind of torn between staying home, which you had desired. You felt like the Lord was calling you home and to be with our children, spend more time with our children, to pour into our children.
Right.
And I just was not about that life.
Yeah.
And so even though I knew that was a desire for you, it wasn't something I desired.
Right.
Then over here you have the career, and it's like every day, you're hitting your milestones, and you're getting all this affirmation. You feel like you're on top of the world. You're traveling, all these different things, And then the financials is coming in, and you're feeling like, you know what? Like he said, I'm my own God.
Wow. Yeah.
And I guess maybe in a way that's kind of how I felt.
Wow.
But it took that one word from the Lord when I had that dream that night, and the Lord made it very clear, I'm calling you home. And that was all it took for me to make that decision to come home.
Wow.
But without that word from God, I didn't have anything to sustain me, to make me want to take that leap, because it wasn't a desire in my heart.
Yeah.
But when he gave the word, he also gave the desire.
That's good.
So I really connected with him on that point, because he was you're a Navy SEALs, you went through the hard part. Like, who leaves that?
Cream of the crop.
Like, I've made it through the hard part. Like, I'm not about to leave this.
Yeah. And he didn't just leave because of the injury and just kind of bailed out.
Right. And that's
he
what I was
literally
wondering.
rehabbed, and after 7 months was ready to be deployed again.
Right. Because I said, did he leave because he went back and he realized, physically I can't do this?
Nah, he was ready.
But he fully recovered.
He fully recovered and is fully recovered after everything that happened. So I love what you're talking about, because I feel like even as you're watching and we're debriefing right now with you, we just want you to just put in the comments section, is there anything in your life that you feel was an idol at some point?
Yeah.
And God spoke to you, and you transitioned into what God really had for you. For me, what the Lord showed me was that in football, there were times when that became an idol too.
Really?
Absolutely. And you think about it, right? That's what our culture does. Our culture takes these positions and it idolizes it. It's like, wow, oh my gosh, you did this, you played NFL football, or you were a Navy SEAL, or you're this, or you're that. It's like, and next thing you know, you don't even realize it, but it's like it just kind of seeps in. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. You ever heard that statement before?
No.
And it kind of seeps in just a little bit to where you don't even realize it's happening. So for me, when that season ended, it was the Lord saying, I'm taking you from idolatry to identity.
Wow.
And that means that I'm taking you out of this space where it's so easy to allow these things to become idols into a place where you can walk into your true identity. And that's the whole thing that happened for me regarding NFL, me not for long to newfound life. It was going from idolatry to identity. So my question to you is, what area of your life do you feel like God is taking you from idolatry to identity? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment sections below. Do you have any other key thoughts that you feel really impacted you?
Yes, I want, well, not on that point, but I do want to talk about a little bit more when he referenced the Inspiring with Purpose book that he talked about.
Yeah.
The one you're using.
It is the one I'm using.
Some use out of this bad
I'm getting some use out of it. It's kind of worn already.
Can you share with them? Because this is a big deal. I just don't want a moment to go by where you just kind of overlook it when you're like, well, the focus was on the interview, but he brought this up for a reason. And so if you can just share with our viewers what this is.
Absolutely. So this right here is a dream that was in my heart, and it's been really percolating for the last 5 to 6 years. Birthed out of a desire to really find a process to take the dream and the vision and the goals and the aspirations that God put in my heart and flesh it out by utilizing a planner. And many of us use planners. Some of them are electronic. You might use, Microsoft Outlook. You might use Google. You might have a handwritten planner. Like I like to use both. Yeah. And I know there's many of you that are the same. But for me, I needed something that I could use that would help me to track my goals and to make sure I'm staying on target and I'm being consistent and I'm able to position myself to be accountable for the things that God's called me to do. And this is another form of accountability, and that word a lot of times has a negative association because we think about accountability, we think about somebody getting in our business.
Right.
And we're like, I don't need to be accountable to nobody.
Where did you work out today?
Right. Or why you all up in my business? What you do today? Oh, calling me, asking me what I did, what you do, right? We don't want to be accountable, right? That's our nature as people, right? It's like, what you mean you asking me when I go to the gym? When you go to the gym.
Right.
I look better than you. That's how we do as people, right?
It is.
So this is a form of accountability where if God has given you something in your heart, this planner was built and designed to, number one, if you don't even know your purpose, it's designed to help you find that, number one. And as Charles mentioned here, there's 70+% of people, specifically within the millennials, that don't know their purpose. That's 3 out of 4 people that are walking around like, why am I even here? It's the number one question that's asked on the earth.
I believe it.
Why am I here? And I love what Dr. Miles Monroe said. The manufacturer never produces a product that he didn't know would already succeed. And when you think about that, what that means is that if God's our manufacturer, he didn't put us on the earth unless we had a purpose.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have a pulse means you have a purpose. And I help you identify what that is in the very first pages of this book. And then after identifying that, some of you know it as a BHAG. If you've never heard that before, it's big, hairy, audacious goal. That big life goal, right? So if you think about your BHAG, this book helps you reverse engineer that process from the BHAG down into the day-to-day executionable items to help you achieve that particular goal for your life and fulfill that purpose. So I couldn't find a planner on the market that was doing that in the fashion that I felt in my heart. And there's a lot of great planners out there. But after 5 to 6 years and having a stack of planners like this on my desk that I was tinkering with, the Lord finally looked at me and was like, Mondo, are you going to just create it or not? And I was just like, wow. So over the course of 7 days, I wrote this and created this planner. And it helps you identify your purpose and it helps you track it. And many of you have heard of vision boards. Well, in here, you can actually put an inspiration board together so that you can find that inspiration and what God is breathing on. And then you can walk through a process of being accountable, which is really broken down into 2 words, able, and it's really being accountable for the ability that God has put inside of you.
Wow. That's like a drop the mic kind of thing.
And this planner will help you get there.
You better break down those words, boy.
Boom. You know. So that's the way we look at accountability. There's a positive spin, and it's drawing out and saying, hey man, you have such an amazing gift. Like I see you doing this. Like I think you're incredible when it comes to the interviews, and you're gifted in that. So this is that opportunity for you to express that gift so that we can all benefit from it.
Right.
And now when I ask you about it, it's not with a negative spin, it's with a positive spin, saying, how's that going? Right. Wow, I'm so excited about it. It's account for the ability that God's put inside of you.
I see.
Yeah. So this purpose planner is designed to help you prioritize your life's purpose, but also give you a plan to fulfill that particular purpose.
And are you also doing like groups or anything where, because I know that it's a lot of like questions that help you fine tune your purpose and learn how to properly goal set and all of that.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that they can watch or join that will help them with that process?
Absolutely. We're in the process right now of forming groups where you can join, and we're actually going through a process together of holding each other accountable to the purpose and the plan that God has on our life. And if you don't know what that is, then we're helping you identify that within the form of a community. So if that's something you're interested in,
what should they do?
Go ahead and go into the comment section and leave a note. You can also go to our website at inspiringwithpurpose.com and you can inquire there and send us a message, and we look forward to being able to help you with
Say
that process.
I'm interested in the Inspiring with Purpose groups.
Yeah, and if you like to just get the planner, it's available on Amazon, so you can look this up on Amazon as well, and you can get yourself a copy there. So in essence, that's what we're doing, and the whole focus of this is to help people.
That's it.
And I had no idea Charles was going to come in here with those statistics, and it just blew me away.
Oh my goodness!
And I was just like, wow. So if 3 out of 4 of us are feeling like, what is my purpose? And I went through that transitioning out of football. He had mentioned that a lot of veterans are going through that. I think anytime you're in something that you trained for and you prepared for and you spent your life investing in, and then that shifts, and now you're like, what do I do now? All of us have experienced that, right? Whether it's just in a familial setting of being an empty nester, and you just spent the last 20 years raising children.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what am I going to do with all my time? Who am I, right? I haven't paid attention to myself because I've been pouring out to so many others for the last 2 decades of my life. You might be a mother at home, a single mom, or if you've been in a career for 20 years and you're transitioning out to retire or transitioning into another career, or maybe you lost a job. There's so many different types of transitions we go through in life, and it can leave us sad, depressed, and lost if we don't have if we don't have a true north to help guide us back on track.
That's true.
And that's what this is designed to do, and it's just another tool to help connect us to God, because that's where you're going to truly find your purpose.
Or maybe you're in college and you have too many options and you're just lost in the sauce, like, I don't know which way to go.
Right.
It'll help you fine-tune that.
It helps you fine-tune, narrow your focus, and really, really hit the bullseye for purpose in your life.
I love it.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that we feel like we need to talk about to debrief on this? I think he's an incredible human being, and it's just such an honor to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, that was a gift.
Yes. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for debriefing with us. And just remember that there is a purpose on the inside of you.
Yeah.
And when you step into that purpose individually, collectively, we can all change the world. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode of the Inspiring with Purpose podcast. Remember, I'm Mondo Davis.
And I'm Lisa Davis.
And we look forward to seeing you in our next chat. Just go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. God bless, and have a great day.